what was your life like before, and what is it like now after the program?
Before I started, I was way overweight. I was tired. My body hurt because of, well, probably a number of issues, but I know that my weight was hard on my joints. And I was existing, but I wasn't really living very much. It seemed like, at least I realize now how much I wasn't living. Mm-hmm. Now, I've lost weight. I feel energetic. I walk straight up. My body doesn't hurt. I actually can move more. Before it was a big chore to get off of my knees. Now I can get right up.
Wow.
So it's such a big difference, it's hard to describe.
Yeah. So from what you were eating before till now, it's like...
My focus back then was never, the focus was always on the meat. The meat, the entree was the focus, and the more the better. Mm-hmm. And the plants, a little bit of stuff on the side, that's the way it was. The focus was the meat. Now, there is no meat. When I cook, I haven't used meat in months, and it's just all plants, and there's so much variety and so many different ways of making everything that I don't even think about the meat anymore.
Yeah, well, when you're feeling that good, it makes sense.
You taught a class that I went to, and your enthusiasm at that first class and the food that you made for us made me realize I can do this. It's my problem, and I use the word sustainable. It's always been, nothing has been sustainable. I have never been able to keep at it because it's always a diet. Mm-hmm. This is not a diet for me. This is just the way I'm eating now. It's not a on again, off again thing. And so when you did that for us in that first class, I was like, I can do this. Mm-hmm. This is not hard. And that had me hooked right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. How I first met you.
What's been your greatest benefits that you've felt and you've seen over the last 3 months of working together?
My attitude and my energy. You're the kitchen coach, but it's not just the kitchen. It's how we've worked on changing other parts of my life that have improved it so much more. I would be lazy and sleep in before, and now I'm up. I get up in the morning. I don't even think about going back to bed. I had weighed myself 2 weeks before you and I started, exactly to the day, and I weighed 300 pounds. And on our first meeting, you kind of egged me on to set a weight goal, and I set a goal of losing 30 pounds by the time that we finished our sessions. And it's been a little over 2 months since we first met, and I remember thinking, this is ridiculous. Why pick this number? 30 pounds it's nonsensical. And I beat my goal. I lost more than 30 pounds in less time than what we had planned on. So, I've lost 32 pounds.
Not feeling deprived?
No, never. In fact, some days I eat as much as I want. It's not the same foods, and I never feel like I'm shortchanged. Mm-hmm. The variety, the flavors, everything is just, it's so easy.
Speaking of shortchange, a lot of people think that eating healthy is expensive. What's been your experience?
No, I believe I've saved money. I've been thinking about that several times. I rarely go out to eat anymore. I make most of my own food. And so when I'm not buying pizza and tacos and all kinds of other things all the time, I'm making my own food. The food doesn't cost that much more. And my problem in the past was that I would buy greens or vegetables, and with the great intention of eating better, and I would end up throwing a lot of it out. So even though I was buying those things in the past, I wasn't using them. Now I use them. I'm learning how to use things in different ways, and so the cost is, I'm saving money. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how have I specifically helped you reach your goals?
Since the very first session, I woke up the next day and I had text messages from you. I get emails, I get text messages. You're constantly sending me thoughts and ideas when I have questions. For example, when I have signed up for a CSA, a delivery of vegetables every week from a local farm, you've come up with ideas for me for things that I've never used before, eggplant and kale and different things that I've never even thought of before. All of a sudden you have delicious recipes for me to use. I signed up for that delivery before I signed up with you. I think that delivery would have been, a lot of it would have been wasted if I hadn't had your support with always coming back to ways to do things. Your encouragement, your, I don't want to say moral support, but the way you're constantly, you're a cheerleader. You're always there and making sure that I don't feel like I'm doing this by myself. You're always there, and I know that if I need it, I just send you a text message and you'll be back to me. That's a big part of it. I look in the mirror and I am not the same person I was, 2.5 months ago. It's just, there's no question in my mind that this was the best thing that I've done for myself in so long. It's been transformative experience. It has changed all parts of my life. And people that I didn't think would be supportive of me, they see it in me and they recognize that I'm doing something good. And so again, it's a no-brainer. I was concerned about the amount of time, and we talked about that early on, how I felt like I didn't have the time to be making all these things and prepping all these things. And I guess maybe I got better at it, and it became just a part of my life. I don't know why, but for some reason, it just fell into place. I was worried about the time and I'm not a bad cook, but I was worried about how I would do the things. It's so simple, and it all fell together after a few weeks. It just seemed like it was natural. I'm not doing anything different and causing more time anymore. It's just the way I live.
Yeah, you found your groove, and
Yes.
now it's like not a big
Yes,
deal.
time was a worry, but it is not anymore.
And lastly, what made you most surprised about the program? About having me come into your house and cook with you, and
You're the kitchen coach. And again, I was expecting, I knew the foods that you made, and I was looking at it as a purely food-based program. But as I said earlier, it is so much more than that. It is how I live my life, how I get up in the morning, how I go to bed at night. The way I approach so many different things has changed. So I think the surprise was that it is so much more than just the food part of it. It is all encompassing. It's not just what I'm eating, how I'm eating, but it's how I'm living.
it's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much, Joel.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.